And we're going. Sorry about that.
Okay. We're
So
recording.
excellent. So you show this graph, and look, I love this, and this is cool. Like, I mean, I'm always impressed with my students, and the students already saw a lot of these kids are already like 2 or 3 grade levels ahead in math, and they already see that it's an exponential. There's an exponential relationship. I wish we can get mathematical with this, but a lot of kids were actually using the exponential formulas for this, which was kind of cool. They just brought it up.
We got a couple questions. One is, what does it cost?
It's free right now.
Okay.
It doesn't. The only thing is with the free subscription, you don't get the answer key, but I don't ever even look at the answer key anyways. I think they're going to continue it in the fall if people are going e-learning.
And then another question is, are these videos from Explore Learning or another source? Please share this too. Wow.
The video that I uploaded. I made these videos and I used QuickTime.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if it's free or not, but QuickTime, there's a thing that there's like a screen share. So you just click through it, and then it saves it as a QuickTime video, and all you have to do is just drag it in.
So and is Explore Learning and Gizmo the same thing?
Yeah, it's the same thing.
And are the mitosis slides also Explore?
Oh, like when I would show a mitosis slide, like because we couldn't get access to the microscopes, like let me go back to the folder. I gotta go back. I would, hopefully my internet, I just hope Xfinity holds up during this, my Xfinity internet.
We hope so too. And I just would like to say to the group, we're a small group, so it's perfectly okay to open up your mic and ask George questions. You don't need to put them in the chat.
Please, I ramble.
Yeah, open your mic and ask questions. This is this is meant to be a polyvocal conversation.
Yeah.
Hi, George.
Is that Jamie?
It is. How are you?
Hey, Jamie. Good to hear from you.
Yeah. So Explore Learning and Gizmo is the same thing.
Yeah.
Did they change names or?
You can type in explorelearning.com and it'll take you there. But then they call their simulations gizmos.
And you'll put that on the. I'm
writing it down right now.
How do you Can I ask a question? Oh, sorry. What were you recording? Go ahead, Renee. I'll wait.
How do you get the free version? Because my 30 days trial expired and it won't let me use it for free anymore.
Oh, they didn't let it. They only let it go for 30 days. They said it was going to be free over e-learning.
I'll try again. I
had to pay for the subscription, but my school would. Yeah. So,
they let me renew it indefinite, like just keep renewing it over and over.
Oh, the free 30 days.
The free one, yeah.
Oh, they just let you, yeah. So just keep renewing it, yeah. And it goes really well. Actually, there's so many tangents I can go off on right now. What's great about it is, let me go back to it. The work's already done for you. So you scroll the worksheets. If you get to see my cursor, they already have the worksheets done for you. Like you can just give them the worksheets so you don't have to, it cuts down on so much prep. And the questions, it's inquiry aligned. So, and my thing is, we don't need to write new modeling curricula from scratch. We need just good inquiry aligned curricula. And that's how I survived. I changed schools and I had my whole curriculum change. So I had to say, I gotta still do modeling. How am I going to make this work? And it's just finding resources that are inquiry aligned. So like these worksheets are done for you. And then
George, I have a question.
Yeah, what's up?
So I'm really trying to figure out how to manage like this type of worksheet. How are you grading it virtually?
How did I do it?
Because it seems like
a lot of
there's got to be a faster way to do it than clicking on every 120 different kids and looking, you know what I mean? Like, how did you manage that part?
Grading. And please don't roll your eyes at the first. There's a reason why I do what I do. You got to make your life easy, right? Like we don't want to work.
Right.
That's why I'm here. We can't spend 10 hours on a computer. I didn't even look at these worksheets. If they turned it in, I just checked it off and gave them 5 points. I have a grading system where it's an 80-20. 80 comes down to the summative assessments and 20% comes to the formative. Most of my assignments fall under formative. So if they don't even do the assignment, it's not going to really hurt them, but it's going to help them. They need this for the final assessment. Now, I got to show you, I guess I really need to find this, and I wish I was organized. If you guys want to come back tomorrow, I'll be better organized. So we do all these assignments, and most of the stuff I don't even grade. So I didn't do whiteboard discussions because we went synchronous and asynchronous. I didn't know what those words mean prior to e-learning, but I wanted to do whiteboard discussions, but I didn't have a pro account to do mini breakout rooms, and you can't do a whiteboard discussion without I think you need those breakout rooms to put kids in there. The whiteboards I'll get to in a second. I just did discussion threads. And the kids would post, I would put a question like, what makes this rabbit, this is something else, this is in college, this is when we were in college, what makes a rabbit population go up and down in size? And the kids would talk and they'd hit the like button on each other. All I did is if the kid wrote anything, I'd give them full credit, but I would periodically check in through the day 2 or 3 times and just write a comment overall on how the class discussion was going for the day. Now, then there would be, like each day, like I said, I'd have like videos. The simulations, like I said, we'd be going through simulations videos. I also started doing this year. I always got, in my old district, the one thing that people really complained about middle school modeling was there was no literacy. There's no textbook, right? So the teachers wanted reading. And at first, I was doing physical science, so I'm like, hey, I'm fine. Like, I have all the labs and worksheets. Like, if we have a reading or two, I felt kind of guilty. I would only give like a couple readings a year. Now I use Amplify, and our district is piling in it. It's not complete, but it's a storyline. I have to supplement it, and I like how it is. Now, I started doing reading annotations with it. It's always like the kids, in years past, the kids really disliked doing reading because it'd be like Cornell notes or fill in the blanks. So I like and I could put this in a folder as long as people don't go to Amplify for copyright laws. I can give you all the readings, and they cover physical science, earth science, life science. You got to be tech savvy enough that I'm going to put them in like huge folders. You got to be able to separate. Like, these readings are like, each article is only like 2 pages. Like, this one is 2 pages, right? I just separate it. Like, Amplify will give it to you as like a whole textbook. I just pull them out and then put them in. I don't know if I'm making sense or not. I just whatever pages I want them to read, I pull it out so the kids just use these.
I give my readings through CK12. CK12 is free, but they're also short like that, and you can they can annotate in there as well. And CK12 also has Plix, which are similar to Gizmo. Gizmos are better, but they have Plix in CK12 that are interactive labs. But I like the Gizmo labs better than the CK12 ones. But I use the CK12 for reading.
Yeah.
It integrates with Canvas, so we use Canvas, and I can actually put CK12 assignments right into Canvas.
I wish my school was using Canvas because they feed into the high school, and the high school only uses Canvas. Gosh, there were so many things. So yeah, and Renee, I think maybe you shared with me the CK12. I'm not sure. I use the CK12. Sorry, what's that?
Is CK12 free, or is that something you got to subscribe to?
It's free.
Free. And I have students that go above and beyond that want extra work. I gave CK12 as just optional extra work if you want to use the assignments. I like the reading annotations, and the kids don't fight me on this because they highlight the key points of the article about what we're learning, and then they put these little annotations here. I think it helps them with reading comprehension so much better than just giving them a worksheet that goes with it. And the kids hate doing reading worksheets. They don't fight me on this though. Like, they like doing these reading annotations. And at classroom management, when we were in the building, if there was a day where, I just need the kids to be quiet, like I don't prep our whiteboards, the whiteboards are done, and then I'd have about 7-8 minutes left of class, I would tell them hey, when you're done with your whiteboard, put it back. We're going to discuss it tomorrow. Do a reading annotation. And that helped me so much with flow and just keeping the kids I can't, with my 7th graders, I gotta make sure I'm organized or things could spiral pretty quickly. I guess the last part, so I don't really grade much. I grade the reading annotations because I think they're important. And a lot of parents actually were happy that I was doing it too. And then the
Assigned
only
reading annotations. Like is it a PDF that I don't understand how that part works.
Yeah,
I've
so
only done it on paper.
you can do it on paper. How I did it electronically is I put it as a PDF.
Okay.
They uploaded it through Notability. Now my kids have iPads.
Oh my goodness. Thank you for being there. Bye-bye.
What was I gonna say? So if your kids don't have iPads, you can use an extension called Cami. Like if they have Chromebooks or a PC, they can annotate through. They can download an extension called Cami. So you don't.
CAMY.
I think it's KAMI.
I think so. Yeah.
And it's
Cami's for annotation on a PDF.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you just upload the PDF, and then they know how to. You can YouTube it. You can literally see how do you upload a PDF onto Cami, and you can post the video for the kids to see.
Wow.
How do you grade them?
I have a good question. I have a rubric, and I just build the rubric in. If you guys want, I'm writing all this stuff down for stuff to share. Rubric for annotations. I'll show you how I do it. Okay.
That's the difficult part, is the grading. Otherwise, you can sit for hours into the night.
I agree, John. Hours.
No, and I can't do that. Like, I don't have the time. I don't have the energy. Like I said, majority of assignments, I just check that they did it. And I don't even look at it. I don't care. Because if they don't understand it, it's going to show on the final assessment, which I'll show you what I do if they tank the final assessment.
And that's only 5%, you say, is you taking on the work?
80%.
80%. Now, I have a rubric. It's text. Did they mark the text? That's pretty much a gimme. They're going to get 5 points if they mark anything. And if it's consistent, they're getting the key points. Passages or vocabulary, if they highlighted new words, you get 5 points. Basically, all my kids get 5s out of 5s here. Mm. One thing I look at is I skim what they write on their annotations. This is where they can lose their grade. So if a kid kind of just highlights on there, then they would just be but then they write really bad annotations. And I always tell the kids, on the annotations, summarize, tie it into things we're learning here. What shocked you? What's new things, questions you have. And this is a lot, but next year I need to teach them how to use symbols. Because when I'm annotating things, sometimes I just put plus signs, put minus signs. So if they didn't score well on their annotations and they rushed it, and I'll tell you there's about 20% of my students just rush it. They get an 11 out of 15. It doesn't tank their grade, but I always make remarks like, hey, if you want to make revisions, you can do this for 100%. I have 100.
Sorry.
Yeah, John, what's up?
Sorry, George, I'm just curious about so this rubric, how did you place this rubric into Schoology?
I just Googled reading annotation rubrics, and there's Word documents. There's a plethora of them out there. And I just—
You gonna share this one?
Yeah, let me, reading annotation.
Because what I'm looking at is that for you, it's a matter of click, and then the grade is automatically transferred across to the right-hand side and adds up. That would save time. What is the application that is this just Schoology?
Yeah, it's in Schoology, and I don't know. I haven't used Google Classroom in 2 years. Can you embed rubrics in Google Classroom for assignments?
I've seen it on there.
I think there's something there, but I've never used it.
I would look into that. So when I upload an assignment, now I need to show the actual assignment. Let me click back. Zoe Gerber, she's one of my top students. I'm spacing right now, sorry.
Now, do you use a standards-based grading scale or not?
I teach just north of the city of Chicago, and all the communities up there tried going standard-based grading 2 years ago. And the parents, how do I say, they didn't embrace it. They totally shot it down.
I just realized my mic was muted when I tried answering your question. For the Google Classroom rubrics, there's a way where if you type it in and scale it, they have it where you can click on which different box it acts, and it adds it up for you.
Nice, and that'll save you so much time.
Can I ask how many people were you guys required to give grades? We were all credit, no credit. I'm disappointed in what we did. We had to give one assignment a week. for the last 6 weeks of the shutdown. The first 4 weeks, we just pretty much, I put out nature journals and I had to communicate with my kids. But were you all required to give letter grades for that shutdown?
We were
We
mandated not to give grades.
Oh,
we gave
credit.
we gave grades. It was I gave 2 a week. They got grades, but they were all just rated equally across the board at 20%.
Right.
And then the entire quarter was lumped in at 10% of the total grade for the kids.
Was this because some kids were virtual capable and some kids had to get packets, paper packets?
I'm very rural, so we had a lot of kids with packets, and I have terrible internet, and my husband's taking online college classes, so we were fighting over internet. So yeah, that's part of it. I don't know what'll happen if this continues in the fall, because we can't do what we did. It wasn't teaching. If they did anything at all in that 6 weeks, they got credit. If they opened up one of my Go formatives and BS their way through it, they got credit for the whole quarter.
So I'm at a private school, but my kids are all free and reduced lunch Title I kids, and they all have a MacBook, and my school actually delivered hotspots to them. So we actually had real grades for the whole semester.
We put
and we're actually doing summer school online right now. And
we had, out of 900 kids, we had 300 without digital access. So we did no grades at all. It was all just to keep them stimulated, but nothing graded.
Did you meet with them virtually, Christina?
No, but we got the Aspires Act, I think, is giving us enough computers when we start this asynchronous, synchronous, so we're all going to be teaching on the computer.
So are you guys planning on blended learning then? Are we?
Well, they told us there's 3 options, but the most likely is the blended, and we have 7th and 8th grade. So on Monday, Tuesday, only half of the 7th graders come, and on Thursday, Friday, only half the 8th graders come, and so you only actually see the students in person 1 day a week, and the rest is going to be virtual.
So
but they said it could probably change 10 more times, but they wanted to give teachers an idea of what our school chose for the asynchronous, synchronous teaching.
For those of you that have to get assignments from kids virtually, like by email, have you heard of Genius Scan? Genius Scan is an app that you can get on your smartphone, and you can take a picture of something and it converts it to a PDF. And then you fill in the email address of the teacher and you can send it to the teacher. That means everything that you get as a PDF is markable, because you can mark up PDFs.
Yes.
You don't have to print it and write on it and scan it. You can just mark it right there on your computer screen. So Genius Scan is useful if you're stuck with receiving lots of emailed assignments.
How do you mark on it?
If you have there are I guess I have Acrobat.
You need a PDF editor.
You need a PDF editor, but there are free PDF editors. And actually, Word will let you edit PDFs or write on PDFs, annotate PDFs. So, yeah.
Yeah. And with my kids' PDFs, if you upload them, Notability is good. If your kids have iPads, Notability is great. And if you have Chromebooks, Kami is what I used at my old school district. I guess to answer the question, like, how did I set this all up? When I created, like, all I would do is just type the title of it. My kids were really well versed in reading annotations, so I'd just give the instructions, like, what to do. Sometimes I would type out, like, hey, this is things you should be annotating about. I really have to, even my students, I really have to hit them hard, like, hey, like, every time I have to review with them, like, hey, this is what you should be doing to have good annotations, all these lists of things. I attach the PDF, and then all I do is I made all these other rubrics or things, and like annotations, all I do is click on annotations and then go. There's only 2 things I only grade in my classes: is the reading annotations and they're I call them writing prompts. They're essentially small tests. So, which actually leads me, I should probably get into that. And I could also talk to you guys about how I did whiteboard discussions or how I would do it. I didn't have, like, my school's pretty intense. So we'd have live synchronous lessons twice a week, and then 2 days we had to go asynchronous. But I only had, on my 130 kids, and I have good kids, I only probably had on average every day 25, 30 kids.
Show up. Yep.
Yeah. And I honestly, I know, like, a certain teacher at my school was basically borderline threatening her students to get into the Zoom rooms. I'm not someone that's going to force the kids. If they're turning in quality work, I don't care. If they ace the test, good for them. And plus, other thing that teachers were complaining about is, like, I think the kids are working together on the same assignments. And I'm like, well, I work with other science teachers and we all just share our stuff and work together. Welcome to the real world. I don't know. This part takes me a while to grade. This is like the final test. So, like, I basically was doing like mini units throughout the whole year. Like, I did mitosis for a week and a half. I did, photosynthesis and cellular respiration. That actually took like probably 2.5 weeks. But actually, I got to view the assignment. I would just basically, all my tests this year, I went to claim evidence reasoning, like NGSS aligned. If you guys want, I can share you the rubric and how I structure it. Like, the last 2.5 weeks, we were figuring out why are these jellyfish booms going off in the ocean. And I said, we made up a sea called the Glacier Sea, which doesn't exist, just to throw the kids off so they couldn't Google it. So after all these simulations we did, reading annotations, application worksheets, I just said at the beginning, I gave an elicitation, like kind of like the Paradigm Lab. Like, what do you think's causing? I showed a Net Geo video and it's like kind of scary. Like, they're in Japan, they're pulling up these monster jellyfish and everything. Like, what's causing it? And almost even my smartest kids, I tell you what, I have some really top-notch students. They all say, it's like, oh, it's got to be because of pollution. Then we went through the storyline like any good modeling curricula. And they said, what could have caused the jellyfish boom population to rise in the glacier seas? Please write your response in a paragraph that mentioned things that we did in the class over the 2 weeks to support your claim. The population will increase because, and I said, claim 1, the zooplankton caused the burst to increase the moon jellyfish population. Claim 2, a change in the sea turtle population caused deaths to decrease in there. Or claim 3, neither claim 1 and 2 can be right or wrong. And I showed them this little diagram here of the food web and food chain. It's an ecology unit. So we're just trying to figure out like what made this happen there. Then I made the kids write, and I'm always impressed. Like this student, Margaret, she wrote about this much. I have kids that write like essays, and I'm just like, oh my God. And I'm trying to think, how do I grade it all? I have basically like 3 generic comments. Like 1, here, you did awesome. Here's why. You hit multiple different. You gave multiple different evidence, and you backed it up with good reasoning. 2, a medium one, and 3, like, you didn't do so hot. Here's what you're missing. Redo it if you want to. Let me know. And I would just paste the comment in here so they know why they got the grade they did. So I'm just copying, pasting 3 of the 3 generic comments in there. And then the grade comes down to, it's a 20-point rubric. This is a summative, so this is a big part of their grade. Like, this is where I spend the majority of my time grading. Like, on a day-to-day basis, like every week, and this is something that other teachers don't really like, and I would never say this at my school, I probably only grade 1 thing a week, or one or 2 things. If it's a big week, I'm grading 2 things. And why? It's because this is where I need to put all my energy in. And to me, the grade should reflect, like, did they get what they should know, like what I want them to get out of it. Now, could students sit on the side and not do anything? Absolutely. But majority of the time, if they rush the work, their reasoning is going to be so off, and it's usually atrocious. So it's a 4 for a claim, 4 for evidence, reasoning. It's another 4 points. Language and vocabulary, that's the one. I mean, here's where and then there's focus and organization. That's a gimme. I'll be honest, their claim and their focus is pretty much a gimme. Like, they're probably going to get an 8 out of 20 just putting anything down. Now where they lose points is usually their reasoning. Like, they don't have reasoning clearly links evidence to claim, shows the data count as evidence by using appropriate scientific principles. There are sufficient scientific principles to make links between the claim. That's where my students usually get dinged on, and also the vocab. Now, I use a word wall in my room. So when we cite new words, operational depth, after we've done a lab, we cite the word, it goes in their journal. I'll throw it up on the wall. I'd be like, hey, make sure you're using these vocabulary words if you want to get your 4 points. And then, I mean, I don't want to go off on a tangent about it. If the kids tank these, like 85% of my kids usually ace it. And then of the 15%, I give them that comment like, hey, here's what you're missing. If you want to retake it for 100%, go get it. And that's what carries me, because I have some pretty intense parents. So if they tank that assessment, it's like I got to give them a window still that they can, be successful. A lot of people don't like. A lot of people get upset about retake policy. To me, I just, I'm not. I don't know. I'm not saying I'm right or wrong. It's what I do to survive at my school.
George, do you have a virtual word wall right now?
No,
or, I mean, for the 3 months that we were out.
When the kids, after every discussion, and my administration actually doesn't like what I do, after every discussion, we have a Google Doc running as a class. We'll do a journal prompt. Let me, don't mind me, I'm going to sneak into my email. I promise I don't have anything weird. I just got to find the models. I'll call them models so far journals. I think I showed John in the distance. Some people I've shown in workshops. Let me just type in models so far. One second. Okay, cool. This is just a geology one. What do we call it? Model so far geology. It's nothing fancy. At the end of a whiteboard discussion, a kid is sharing this on the screen. A kid is literally screen sharing this so everyone can see. We did some sphere activity on 9/11/2019. We looked at the Mars simulator. There's volcanoes. We're just summarizing. Hey, what did we get out of this discussion? And it's not a lot. Oh, we did the string table lab on the 19th. Here's the big thing that we saw that we came to consensus about. And then if we cite words, did I cite words in geology? Oh, that's bad. I'm a bad teacher. We didn't cite words. I usually bold it. When we got to the weather and biology units, we would bold it. When I transitioned to e-learning, I would just type it out. I would summarize what the kids threw in the discussion thread the day before, just copy paste. And I would have in the videos like, hey guys, if you want to type this in, just copy and paste. Make it, yeah. I'll be honest, during e-learning, a lot of teachers I worked with were claiming that they were working like 6-7 hours a day. I'm to be honest, and don't roll your eyes, I was probably only working like 3 hours a day because just work more efficiently.
Do you think that something like this would work if using, for example, Google Groups, that you could have something going like this, or would you just prefer using a Google Doc?
When I'm not 100% like when you use Google Groups, is that like the Google Meets, like the videos, or is that Google Groups?
No, it's sort of like that. It's except you're creating this Q&A. You can have a Q&A, or you can have a topics, set it up by topics or announcements where the kids can either participate in it, because that's one thing I'm planning on. What I'm thinking about, I'm including it where they, as part of their grade, they have to go in or participate in this discussion so they can help build this model so far.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a really good idea. I'm not 100% familiar with Google Groups. I just do in Schoology, I use discussion threads, which sounds very similar to what you envision with Google Groups. I'll be honest.
Are you hoping to do like whole classes or divisions within a class to do the Google group?
I guess for me, it's going to be a classroom document.
Okay.
Right. So for individual work, they were just see Renee's using a AWW app. That's what I've been using for them to work on their whiteboards. But then we want to have something that's going to sum up the class, and I thought that we could put it into questions that they have to answer and contribute with, either as groups, but it's going to be for everyone.
One of the things that I tried, we use Zoom mostly, so I use the Zoom breakout rooms, but so I use the AAW, I can't even remember how, I put it in the chat.
www.app.com. It stands for a web whiteboard app.
Yeah, and Zoom has a whiteboard, but not everybody can write on it at the same time. If you use Google, there's a Google one, I can't remember what it's called. Google Jam. Google Jam, they can all write on at the same time, and the one that I just put up there, they can write on at the same time. But the other thing that Tanea uses all the time, and I've used it a few times, is I set up Google Slides and give each group a separate slide and give them edit access to the Google Slides. So the one activity, I don't remember which middle school unit it's in, but where they had to arrange ocean creatures into groups. I put all the pictures of the ocean creatures on a Google slide, and then they could go in and drag the pictures around on the Google
I was just
slide.
thinking of doing that with hurricanes.
It works really well. The kids actually like doing it too, because then they can write on it with Google Draw. So in the slides, you can actually draw on the Google slides. It's pretty cool.
Just for clarification, you can have multiple people write at the same time on the Zoom whiteboard. I don't know, you know, they just have to open their tools. They just have to open their tools. So, so not everybody knows that they can open their annotation tools. There's a little thing hanging up at the top of the screen, but you know, there are lots of problems with the Zoom whiteboard feature. Mostly, you know, you can't see, as the teacher, you can't see what they're doing on their whiteboards. And if you have them working on Google Slides or something or the like, you may not be in their room, but you can see what they're writing on their whiteboard. So I think that is superior in my opinion.
Colleen, I think, and I think someone talked about it, Google Jamboard. This is Google Jamboard. This is cool.
Oh, right.
I didn't use it, but it looks cool. I need to look more into that, especially if we're going to e-learning in the fall. Here's something I wanted to do, but my district said you can't use, or they told me I had to use Google's or Zoom instead of Google Meets. I used this the first week just to keep down the structure. Group 1, and it says January, February. If you're a January, February birthday, because I don't know how many kids are going to jump into my like lesson every day when we're all on the cameras. Those groups would be, if you're a January, February birthday, you would work on questions 1 and 2. You know, group 2, if you're March, April, you're going to be in group 2 and you're doing questions 3 and 4. You're putting your answer here. And of course, I'm trying to tell them, like, don't write, try to make it as a diagram. Like, I really stress make diagrams instead. And how do they communicate with each other? I actually just hyperlink these. So you click on the link and it takes you right into that little breakout room. And then I'll have 6 tabs going, and I'm kind of OCD where I don't like having a lot of tabs. So like right now my head's spinning right now with all my tabs up top. But I have all these tabs running. I mute myself and mute that. Like I just, mute the whole room and I let them talk. And then I jump in and I'll be like, hey, we're coming back in 5 minutes. Like jump back to the original Google Meet room in a second. And then we just talked about everyone's answers. It's nice because like group 1, this is their space. Everyone can see everyone's whiteboards all at once and it keeps it organized. Like we're not hopping between different rooms. And this is just a Google slide. This took me 2-3 minutes to do. The only reason why I didn't use it almost on a day-to-day basis because I had low numbers. Out of my 130 kids, I probably only had like 30 kids in there. And I didn't know who was going to be coming and who wasn't. But if I had higher attendance, I would have went this route.
So George, you would use this for all 130 of your kids broken down by their birth month, not per class. Okay.
I wish if I had a Zoom Pro, that Zoom Pro account, I don't have access to put people in breakout rooms because I don't own like a Zoom actual account. The breakout rooms would have worked too. I could have pushed them out in Zoom breakout rooms and just say like, hey, you guys are group 6, you're doing these questions. Group 3, and then just write. So when we all come back together, it's all neat and organized. Colleen, I don't know who shared this with me. This wasn't my idea.
It was Janelle Arendt.
Awesome. I saw this and I'm like, this is going to save me so much stress because you don't want to be flipping between everyone's. I think John, when we did that online class back in the winter, which that feels like ages ago, that I wish I would have done this instead for the whiteboards because I would take these screenshots and then we're fumbling around. This is just, it flows so much easier.
The other thing that I've seen people do is to, if you make a Zoom slide for each group, so you make a slide deck, and if you're going to have 6 groups, you make 6 slides, and slide 1 is group 1 and slide 2 is group 2. They make their slide, and if you, the teacher, want to know what's going on in that room, you should put up the slide sorter view on your screen, and you can see the progress of the slides in each room. And then you can use that slide sorter also at the end to display all the whiteboards at the same time. That way they're only looking at their own whiteboard while they're making their slide. I mean, it's certainly possible for them to toggle back and forth to rooms, but it just allows you to monitor and see how long, do they all need more time? Then you can chat them out a little message that says, okay, looks like you need a couple more minutes. Or if they're all done early, you can say, you're done early, we're going to close the rooms early.
So I'm curious, so I just set up a whole lesson just like that. I made a big slideshow and then I made different groups, but I like the birth month easier. But so are the kids on a Google slide and in a Google Meet at the same time? Okay.
Yeah, in a different tab, right?
Okay.
I'm sorry. Yeah, they I tell them, because they all leave when I break them out in Google Meet. It doesn't matter that they have 2 tabs up and running because they've already left the other room.
Okay.
So it's not double audio. Like you would think, oh, there's gonna be double audio, but there's no one in the original room, and I mute the room anyways when everyone goes in their breakout rooms. So
the breakout rooms are not like Zoom where you can, as an instructor, pop in each one. You're just clicking on this right here to see each one.
You can pop into individual rooms. You can just open multiple tabs on your browser, right?
Okay.
Just stay muted unless you have to talk to them.
Yeah. I felt with Zoom, I felt sort of completely discombobulated trying to get into the different groups, individual groups, kind of going from group to group to group. I did not like that. I felt that there wasn't a flow. It was very difficult.
It takes time. It takes time to leave and enter other groups. And
I was super afraid of Zoom. I used Google Meets for the longest time, and then because I'm going to present a workshop, the biology workshop in July, I started using Zoom about May, and now I'm really good at it. It takes a lot of practice, but I can get in and out of the Zoom meetings pretty quick. I put a link in the chat to a video that shows you how to make the slide in the breakout rooms in Google Meets, because I had Zoom issues this week and our tech guy sent me this video. The guy that does it is using Google Classroom. I just skipped his Google Classroom step and it worked. It worked really well to set up the separate meeting rooms in Google Meets. They're not meeting rooms, they're separate links.
Another alternative you could use is Discord as well, where you can separate or make an entire channel for maybe like your classroom in particular, and then you can create sub-channels that they can easily just click on and switch between, and it's honestly pretty easy to use. The only problem is certain school networks don't have that network or that download allowed, so you'd have to work that out with your IT. But it's a application I also really like.
Yeah, same for Slack. Although Discord is more like what gamers use, and maybe kids like Discord better, but Slack is great for multi-channel conversations that are asynchronous.
My head's spinning.
And John, you bring a great point. Now, we covered a lot, and I just was, I'm just spewing out stuff that I use to survive in e-learning. If you want, and I have things written down, like I need to share our Hawaii people, Aaron Conradry's email, Explore Learning, the link for that, the CAMI extension, K-12, rubrics for reading annotations and the writing prompt, the assessments. I'll throw all that in the folder that's on the Google Sheet. If there's other stuff that I'm missing, can you just email to me? If you email me and it's in my inbox, like, hey, can I get this?
Yeah.
Or
anybody can add stuff to that Google Note. That Google Sheet. I've been doing a lousy job of adding information to it. Please feel free to annotate that sheet with ideas that you have, because it's great to have a consolidated reference for everybody.
I think Colleen, we're trying to get done in 45 minutes. What we should probably do, not a week or two. So it's like what do they call it?
Right, but I think actually, George, I was looking at the schedule a few minutes ago. We have an hour and a half.
Okay, so we got a lot.
So we've got time for other people to, share their screens with any good stuff that they've got too.
I'll stop sharing. If anyone else questions or if you want to share what you guys use, I learn more, all this information I share, 90% of it I just got from other teachers. And that's why in these workshops, I just keep sharing whatever I have to people, because it's like, we all got to survive. So,
right.
Does anyone else have things they want to share, or like, hey, like I have a problem with this. Like, does anyone have any ideas what they want?
I was going to ask.
I have a question.
Sorry. Do you did you do any?
You said about...
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Did you do any non-written assessments or any for summatives?
I do all claim evidence.
What was that again?
I do all claim evidence. I don't do multiple choice.
Or in terms of like non written, like project based or anything like that.
Yeah, and I wasn't really happy with myself, but I have to go with the flow. I'm new at my new school. I'm not tenured, so I have to please everybody. I did the cell analogy project. I should have did something way cooler, like, hey, like I read an Ambitious Science Teaching. This is an awesome book. I think it aligns really well with modeling instruction. I got a lot of good ideas in there. They were like, hey, ditch the cell analogy project. That's 1990s, 1980s. Like, do something cool about like cancer research, like some sort of application problem. I don't know, it's in here if you want. I mean, I could skim through it and figure out where I highlight it, but they were like, you should do something about different diseases and how it affects the cell. Yeah.
Well, this fall for sure,
Anything that you said about Google, I'm new to Google Classroom and I never used it before the shutdown. So all those comments you were making about using Google Classroom, can you put those in the folder? Because our tech department is asking us what we want to learn in our PD this fall. That would be awesome if they could hit on these things for all of us.
Is there anybody on the call that's a Google Classroom expert or a Google Classroom experience? Let's not place the bar too high.
Google Classroom experience, definitely not expert.
Yeah, I use Google Classroom.
And what can you share with others who want to know what they should want to know?
So all I can say, what I'm choosing to do this year is because I'm finding Google Classroom fairly limited in it's fine for turning in assignments, but what I'm finding is I'm busy right now creating a website on Google Sites, and that's going to have every single thing because for example, where you have Schoology and there's Canvas. I don't like the way that Classroom does it, so I'm using Sites to create an entire website for 6, 7, and 8 with all the syllabi and everything and all the information that the kids need, access to Google Groups, access to Classroom. It's going to be their one stop for everything, because Google Classroom is fine if they need to turn in work or to find their grades. But more than that, I'm not crazy about it.
Who else?
Does it do those rubrics that you can fill in that like George is using in Schoology? That seemed really useful.
Yeah, it does. It is. There is a place for it. I've never honestly explored that because I'd have to create the rubrics.
And I'll say I had to learn so much on the fly during e-learning, and I consider myself just an average tech person. How did I learn all this stuff? I literally just typed it in on YouTube. YouTube has tutorials for everything now. Like if you need to learn something about Google Classroom, type in specifically what you need to learn about Google Classroom, and the tutorials are already done for you. And they're really professionally well done. So like I had to learn how to use iMovie. I had to start making iMovies, and I literally just Googled iMovie, how to use iMovie, and it walked me right through step by step what to do.
I think another thing to remember for Google Classroom is Google Forms. You can make a Google assignment now or Google quiz, and you grade it in there, and it pops right into your Google Classroom grade book.
Yeah. So
I could probably say this. George, did you use iMovie to make all those little videos for your kids each week?
No, I'm not a go-getter. The social studies teacher on my team, she made iMovies every day. I can't imagine how much time she put together with putting those movies together. I just do QuickTime. Like this screen right now, QuickTime, you just do screen share. And I just had all the assignments up, and I would talk them through each part.
Loom.
No,
Loom
because
will
it
do
only
this.
took me a few minutes to make each video, and then I uploaded it and uploaded in seconds. So it was just like, I know a lot of teachers I was working with, they were getting a little, they were catching on that I was probably only working like 3 hours a day, and they were working like 7 or 8. And I'm just like, don't work harder, just work smarter, just be efficient.
Screencastify has a free extension for Google right now. I don't know if it's going to be permanent, but you can record your whole screen and what you're doing on the screen with Screencastify, and it's a free extension on Google right now.
Oh, that's good. That's free. QuickTime, I don't know if it's free or not. So actually, can you say that again? I'll put that. I'll write that down because that's going to save people a lot of time. So yeah.
It's a free extension. It's a free Google extension. It's Screencastify free.
Thank you.
There's another one I just learned. It's called loom.com, LOOM.com. And it's, oh, you just typed it in. If you sign in with a certified teacher account, you get the premium for free. It has one more step to upload, but then you're unlimited in the minutes that you use, and you can edit your document. So I just tried my first, so I had my PowerPoint up, and then I'm like pointing to different things on it, and they can see my cursor, and they can see a little bubble of you if you want yourself on the screen. Super easy too to use, like for a non-techie.
I've made screencasts on Zoom, and you know that you can have a free Zoom account. Anybody can have a free Zoom account. It just limits you to a 45-minute call, but you can have you can use Zoom for screencasts. You just can't edit it in Zoom. You would have to edit it in a third-party software.
I've been using Pear Deck. It is a paid service, however, but I've been using Pear Deck, which turns your Google Slides into interactive, where the kids can actually write on the Google Slides. All of them with their own individual slide, and you can do quizzes in it. You can do a quick survey. You can throw out a quick question. There's draggables in it. It's actually really cool, but my school has paid for a license, and I have no idea how much it costs. But it's also a Google. It's a paid Google extension, but it turns your Google Slides into an interactive PowerPoints, basically.
So Renee, let me ask you a question. So with Pear Deck, are you able to, for example, do drag and drop assessments?
I'm not sure.
Okay, because that's what I'm really looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Colleen, I feel like this is like this whole meeting. It's been like it's those rich teacher mode discussions that we have multiple. We have multiple in a modeling workshop. I don't know if people have been to modeling workshops or not been to modeling workshops, but we always do student mode. We act like the students in a post-lab discussion, and then we have those rich teacher mode, all these things. So I feel like it's just like a fire hydrant right now. But
it is, because the environment has changed, right? We would not have been talking about e-learning a year ago.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have talked about it 6 months ago. Now we're all immersed, whether we know anything or not.
Yeah, John, back when we did the online class, I've never done an online class before, and I was really skeptical about going online with modeling instruction. I wish I would have known then. Now, and we could have just had an e-learning prep yourself.
I know, right? Well, what I did have found is that so Coursera, there's a class that I'm busy taking right now, learning to teach online, which is free. It actually is. I'm enjoying it a lot. Some of the links don't necessarily always work, but it's a very good class. It's through the University of New South Wales in Sydney, and I'm finding it very helpful. A lot of resources, so check it out if you're interested.
Feel free if you guys want to say out loud or just write in the chat, like any other things you want to share or things that, hey, I need help with this, or I didn't catch this earlier.
I can show, I don't know if anyone is interested in seeing, I made a rubric on Google Classroom for one of my assignments.
Share your screen.
Yeah, so.
Thanks, Sarah.
Oh, it says host disabled
Oh,
attendee screen share.
let me fix that. Let me fix that.
Okay.
Okay, now you're good. Now try it.
Okay. Let's see if I can make this work. Do you
Okay.
see the sponge
Yep.
research? Okay. So when I made the rubric, you can go in. And so this was like one of their first assignments because I just needed a minute to figure out what I was doing for e-learning. And you can go in and you can delineate different point values. And then I just wrote short little phrases about what I meant for each point. And then you make all these categories. So you can specifically determine exactly what you want to assess. And so obviously mine was really about structure and their academic language. Oops. And then when you go to grade it, it's blocking my view. Okay, so like this is one of my best students.
Oh, and there's the
Over
rubric
here
in
on
the
the
side.
side
Nice.
is the rubric, yeah. And so you can either just type in right here the number, or you can click down here and here's what I had said I wanted, and then you can just click the number as well. So this doesn't limit you to 6, 3, or 1. Like I could give a kid a 5 or a 4 as well, and then she had questions, so there were some comments that we had down at the bottom, so they can ask questions as they're working on it also.
And do you get a little note when a student gives a question? Do you get notified somehow? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have it set up to notify me anytime a kid makes a private comment. And so that's where they can ask me questions about the assignment. And then I
Sarah, do you have Padlet open behind? Are you using Padlet also?
So yeah, I was gonna show that too. So this, wait, that's not the first one. This is the first one. So this is called, I don't know how you say it exactly, but it's lino.it. And so this is how I did my driving question boards, because we couldn't have a board really. So
what is it called?
It's called LINO.
Lino.
Lino.it.
Yeah, Lino.it.
It's free. And it's basically just an online post-it note board. And so the kids, I would have them submit on Google Classroom. I would ask them what their questions were, and then I would put all of their questions onto, how did you say it?
Lino, doesn't matter. Yeah,
okay.
I've heard it both ways.
So I would put all of their questions on here and all the same color. And then when we had our Zoom meeting, and these are different questions, but we would have a discussion and we would separate them into categories. And so the categories then I coded by color, and then they would go do like a gizmo or something like that. And then we would come back and I would say, okay, what did you learn? Which one of these things have we figured out? Like, what do you know that we can build onto?
So what did you do?
Work.
What did you do to motivate this, or to get these questions motivated?
So they were required. So we actually gave grades. So we had ABC incomplete. So I just put, one of their assignments was, please write down a question that you have about, and we do have a text that they use as well. So they kind of, and I do have them annotated a little bit. So they would have a little background information, but then they would have all these questions about things that they didn't understand. So part of their assignment would be, and some of them did write, they would be like, I have no questions. And I would write back and I would just say, so you understand? And I would say blah, 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 and something very complicated, and they'd be like, no, I don't get that. And so then that would force them in a direction. Like, I think I got the enzyme question that way. So I would say, oh, you know everything about enzymes? And they'd say, no, I don't. What is blah, blah, blah. So it was kind of a dialogue back and forth. But most of them had questions from the beginning. And a lot of them are, I'm trying to look back. They're good questions because a lot of them are actually about like what would change to a system if you removed or added something. So like they wanted to remove, like if someone didn't have digestive juices, what would happen to them? And what if, like, why do we have to have 2 intestines instead of 1? What if we got rid of 1? What would happen? And then if I go back to the Earth and space science questions, they would, like, let's see. Let's see. Like I always wanted to know, like, could Earth collide? What if gravitational pull was stronger? What if it was weaker? How does gravity affect time? I don't even know how to answer that question.
It warps it.
So at the end of the unit then, what did you do with the unanswered questions?
So that's the thing, is you never get to all the questions. It's impossible. So I tried to get to as many questions as possible. And to draw them, to like draw their knowledge out and to get them to figure out how to answer the questions. But if we got to the end of a unit, some kids didn't care about their questions, but if we got to the end of the unit and there were kids who really cared about getting their questions answered and we hadn't covered it, then I
Uh-oh, you faded out.
Oh no, I made a mistake. Hopefully, sorry, Sarah. I don't know. Okay, she's unmuted. Sorry, Sarah.
No, that's okay. I had a phone going off.
It's okay.
So at the end, if they didn't get answered because they just can't answer them all, I would, like, that kid would end up staying on Zoom and we would just talk about it and I would kind of give them answers, which is not a good way to teach, but there's only so much time.
So I'm curious, how many of you were able to actually see your students when you were teaching virtually? Like right now we can see each other. Yeah? Okay. I talked to a number of people who were told by their school or district that they had to leave cameras off. And I wondered how prevalent that was, in part because they don't want kids to be embarrassed about being seen in whatever circumstance they are at home. I know I also talked to one teacher who taught all girls at a private school, and even though he was allowed to see them, he told them that they were not allowed to use their cameras because he did not feel comfortable teaching girls in their bedrooms.
Right.
So,
Colleen, what we did is we had to have 2 adults in the room. So
oh, really?
Yeah, so I had 2 adults in the room, so at all times, and they had to be recorded.
They were recorded, of course,
Yeah.
right?
Colleen, I
have all boys, and
yeah.
There are a couple of, most of my kids are low income. They go to my school for free, and some of them actually have emailed me or emailed our director of our academy and said, I don't want to put my camera on, I'm embarrassed by my room or by my house, or there's too much going on behind me, my siblings are here. So I usually ask them to just flash the cameras on at the beginning so I know they're there, and then I let them turn them off. And then if I release them to do something asynchronous and have them come back, I ask them just to flash the camera on really quick so that I know they're there. But they didn't mandate one way or another whether we should be on or off. So we're taking it student by student.
Yeah, Colleen, I think
we had to use Google. They didn't want us using Zoom because of all the issues they were having with Zoom, so we used Google Meet. We weren't allowed to use Zoom with anybody.
Huh. And interesting, I don't know whether you all, that have never used Zoom realize Zoom has really, shortly after the pandemic closed schools, Zoom beefed up their security considerably. So there's a waiting room. It's really easy to kick people out. You can block
I
people
got
out.
I got Zoom bombed my first week of online. So
What
somebody,
happened?
it was before they had changed all the security. And somehow some strange person got my link and they were yelling and screaming and swearing. And my
Yeah.
7th graders were just, they were freaked out. The 7th
Right.
graders were freaked out by it too. But yeah, they fixed
So
it
it's
since then.
yeah, and the thing is, the security controls were always there in the meeting setup protocol, but the defaults were for low security, and most people don't change default settings. But now the defaults are all for really high security, and so if you don't want a password for your room, you have to do something. And if you don't want a waiting room for your room, you have to do something. So, so things have changed. So if you're still hearing at your school, oh, Zoom is insecure, it's not. It's not. In fact, I think it's probably more secure now than the Google setups, or at least equivalently secure. But I think this is a real issue. The seeing kids, or getting feedback. There's so much formative assessment that goes on in our classrooms that we do just by looking. Right? You can see how they're working in groups. You can see who's tuned in and who's not. You can see who's puzzled. You know when to ask things, or you know when to slow things down, or and pacing wise, I don't know how virtual teaching is impacted. So
Yeah. Colleen, just to go off of that, 2 things. Zoom, I learned Zoom during the winter before the pandemic, and they were a startup nothing company. They actually jumped on the head people of Zoom. I jumped on a Zoom call with them, and they asked me about my experience, and they're basically surveying me about what I like, what I didn't like. And I wish I would have invested in stock in them before this, because they're huge now.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And then the other thing is, it totally came up to me, and I was budding teachers with I have a very, I'll say, kind of aggressive social studies teacher on my team. And one thing that really came up is equity with Zoom. She was trying to force kids on these synchronous lessons, and she wanted them to share their faces. And I was just like, oh, and she didn't like that they were using backgrounds. And I'm just like, I don't think you're actually thinking about, from the kids' perspective, why are they doing what they're doing? She just thought it was a class management thing. And I'm like, no, they're not comfortable. And I'll be honest, my first Zoom synchronous lesson was the same thing. I hit the record. I definitely didn't forget to hit the record button every time, because, it was.
Yeah. No, I've taught on Zoom for a couple of years, and I usually deputize somebody in my class to remind me at the beginning of class, press record.
Yeah. And I think this kind of segues nicely into tomorrow. If anyone wants to come back tomorrow for the middle school lesson, I think we're going to be talking a lot more. We shared resources today. I think tomorrow we're going to talk about equity and classroom environment. So,
may I ask, you mentioned,
go ahead.
Since you mentioned about resources, was that adventurous science teacher that you had held up? What was the name of it?
I'm going to put it in the folder, ambitious science teaching.
Okay.
Ambitious, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, ambitious science teaching.
And the second question, I was introduced to modeling just this past summer, and we had a chemistry, big old loose leaf folder with all of these recommendations for teaching chemistry, but they did not have one for like earth science. And do they have one for middle school, or is there a way I could?
There's a middle school curriculum online. If you go to the members' website, there is a vast array of middle school resources there for you.
Okay.
There is no special modeling curriculum that has been developed for earth science. We would really like to. We've been trying for years to get funding to do that. If any of you are independently wealthy or know someone who is, that cares about STEM education, it takes about $300,000 to develop a new curriculum area, or else it takes many, many years of volunteer work. And that's actually what we did with astronomy. There is now an astronomy curriculum. It's targeted at high school, but you could look at it, and I think it's adaptable to a middle school course. It's really quite wonderful. It's a cosmology course. If any of you love astronomy, be sure to check that out. But no Earth science yet.
Hannah, good question. And this is where things happen in the workshop that, like, I don't actually use modeling curricula in my own classroom. And a lot of times in the workshops, I just do what I do with my kids. I have written a geology unit. I have a geology unit that I don't have, like, there's not teacher notes. I put together a master spreadsheet, and then I give all the student activities with them. If you want, I can put that as a folder, but that's going to take me, you gotta give me middle of next week to get it all uploaded to this folder. Okay.
No, not right away. In fact, I'm just anticipating. I've been with Detroit Public Schools. I'm anticipating going to another school and teaching middle school. I was at a high school. So anyway, I'm in transition now. So thank you.
Do you want me to share with you what I use to supplement? Like I can share with you, like, hey, these are things I use to go with my geology unit that you can look them up, and then you can pull with whatever you want them.
I would appreciate it.
Okay, John, I think I forgot. I think you wanted me to share with you the weather unit.
Yeah, that too.
I forgot.
I'll take whatever I can get. I'm not picky.
Yes, likewise.
Yeah, I can share. The only thing is, it's copyrights. There's copyrights, so just don't share it, or you get it from other people. Just don't. Yeah, just don't.
I don't pass it along.
Yeah, it's all copyright, but I'll give it to you for free what I have.
So are you asking? So I'm slightly confused because I'm on the AMT website right now, and there is a folder that says Earth and Space Science. Is that not?
Those are things that people have shared. So those are contributed resources. They are nothing that has been prepared by a team of people that, is doing.
Because I'm adding 6th grade next year to mine. I just did 7th and 8th this year, and I'm adding 6th grade too.
We have contributed resources, and then we have workshop resources. And in general, the modeling is a pedagogy. It's not a curriculum. It's a way of teaching. However, you can't teach without stuff, right? And we recognize that. So we create resources that really carefully articulate a particular model. And it constructs that model, and it refines that model, and it deploys that model. And so this is it is a model curriculum for how to make modeling curricula. However, we fully expect that every teacher in our workshop, especially in middle school workshops, where everybody that's in the workshop's teaching different stuff, right? You're teaching 6th or 7th or 8th, and you're teaching, or maybe more than one, or maybe you're just teaching the life science components thereof. It varies vastly. So the other thing you ought to learn in a workshop is, what is the structure of a modeling unit? So that you can structure your own from readily available great resources. There's a ton of great resources out there for teachers, and everybody likes to personalize, right? We all have a storyline that speaks to us. And so the workshop resources are great and useful in the classroom, but I'm sure all of you are making your own things, using your favorite things in your favorite ways.
Yep. I don't know. We talked a lot. That was a lot there.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I bet there are people on this call that have cool stuff to share.
Yeah. Does anyone
Who's got something cool to share? Don't be shy.
You don't want mine. My online lessons were not good. I'm going to be honest. They were not good.
So talk about your troubles. We learned from that.
My main issues were, so I did mine through Google Classroom. I mainly did a lot of like linking resources and having like kind of like where they kind of like analyze the resources, talk about it. And from there, it was just a huge hassle of getting any semblance of participation on almost anything, because I think the students found out about the fact that they weren't going to be graded, because even though we were grading them, our administration basically said if they get a grade lower than what they got in the third quarter, to just match their grade with the third quarter. And so I just got like nothing. And even when I would email them being like, hey, your submissions, like they'd submit like a blank thing. I'd be like, hey, your submission didn't go through, resubmit it for credit. And then they'd just be like, or they'd be like, I don't know how to turn it in and some other stuff. And it's like, just email it to me. And I had so many issues where at the end of the day, I was just battling for even the bare minimum. And
yeah, Sean, I had similar issues, and a lot of my teachers were getting worked up with, but it's like, I just figured it's out of my control. And in the state of Illinois, you can't, the kids going into it could not have a grade get lower during e-learning. So by default, they could by default not do anything, and legally they're backed up by ISB. So it's just like, you know, I just pick and choose your battles, I guess. It's like, it's out of my control, so I don't worry about things I can't control.
Yeah, that was where I was at the end of it as well. It was just like, I can't do anything about it, so I was just trying to help the ones that did care, but even then, it was just, it's draining.
Yeah, and you know what, the thing is, like, I didn't get too worked up about it because those kids that were defaulting also had the lower grades in the class anyway, so I'm like, whatever, moving on, we're moving on. So
I had parents, I contacted parents for kids. I had kids that did nothing, probably 8 out of my 140 that did nothing. When you contacted their parents, one dad's like, hey, fail him. All he wants to do is play video games. I can't make him do anything. So I think when we go back to real school, we're going to be very appreciated, because they couldn't make one 12-year-old do something, and I've got 140 of them. But I had several parents rude to me. I'm not a teacher and I don't want to be one. I'm like, well, thank you for helping. Teaching's hard. I was trying to be positive, but yeah, and like you said, even my good kids, I was shocked. My good kids, some of them, they did 1 or 2 lessons and I never heard from them again for 4 weeks, you know, and just by choice. So.
I did do a lesson on happiness, the science of happiness. And I think there's going to be a lot of kids that are not okay, you know, when we come back. And this lesson, if you guys want to see, I can share it. It's on that happiness is a skill and that they can work on it. So I think I'm going to include that early on and remember that.
Anybody have anything to share? Stick it in that folder for this session. I'm sure everybody here has stuff, interesting stuff.
Colleen, I got a whole thing written down that I need to show too.
Yeah, you're right on top of it.
So yeah, here guys, there's nothing in there right now from me, but this afternoon I'll start uploading things. And just by all means, if you guys want me to type my email again, it's great connecting with other teachers. I think I benefit more from the workshop than participants. I just get so many good ideas to bring back to my room. So I just try to share everything. And by all means, if you want to email me again, ever need anything, this is hopefully an introduction and not the finale. So just keep emailing me if you ever need anything. I like connecting with modeling. I'm in the dark. I'm the only person in my school that uses modeling instructions. So these are the very few Zoom meetings that I actually like being in. So.
I was is it okay if I shared something really quick? Just
do.
Throw something out there. So I'm Steve. I teach K through 6 science as a resource teacher. And the team that I worked with just had these really general lessons for each week, whether it was on populations, whether it was basically kind of a one hit for different grade levels. It was kind of parceled down from. So there's all these other amazing videos online out there, probably someone that speaks a lot more engaging than I do and everything else. And I ended up trying to think of a template or a way each week that I could try to engage students in their thinking, and put together this cross-cutting concepts board, like just ideas to go with.
Okay.
So like I whatever we were studying, I would just kind of start with the ideas like, what's in front of us to study? Do you notice a pattern? And so I would use our cross-cutting concepts as lenses to think about what we're doing. you know, why does it happen? And so each week, whatever we were studying, what's in front of us, do you notice, like if it's a graph, whether there's a different change over time? And then in terms of relationship between cause and effect, you notice that there's a certain function. Well, does that depend on a certain structure of an organism or the material type? And then cause and effect. And then bringing in this idea of systems, and which is basically our modeling curriculum. And then in terms of, you know, flows of energy, cycling of matter, do you notice that in the system? And then thinking of drawing a imaginary boundary around something of what we're studying, whether it's going to be closed, open, or isolated. And then do you notice, is there change over, you know, what's your, you know, is it stable? Is it changing? And then at what scale, you know, do we zoom in? And so if we're, and then just kind of going back with this idea, did you, within that system, did you notice certain things happening as a cause and effect? Did you notice a pattern that's happening, and sort of tying all these ideas together? And then, so what does that all mean? It just kind of putting it together, just kind of in a board that I had, is that if there is this relationship, what did you notice in terms of just kind of an overall look at what's going on? And then an overall look at the cause and effect. So this is the California condor population.
Oh, cool.
So this big question of this week was thinking about, in terms of, you know, why did this population change over time? Well, we noticed this pattern. This was a steady increase at this point. And so, okay, well, what was that effect was caused by what? So we could look that up. And so this is this cause and effect. And so what I'm trying to do, and then is there this population, thinking of them as a system. And so each week, this would be my template to go to, so that everything isn't in isolation. It's always thinking of things in what's in front of us to study, what do you notice that's causing the changes, and the actual system of study, at what scale are we looking at it, and are there changes in energy and matter, which is a big, you know, point of thing for AMTA. So each week I just had, with the pandemic and such, there was time to kind of think about, you know, in terms of, well, there's only so much limit. I only have so much I can do with the students. Well, let's just go over the cross-cutting concepts. And so that was kind of it's kind of a work in progress, but it's sort of my version of things. Obviously, I didn't get much feedback from the students, but they might have had something else to say about it.
Were you able to use this with every grade level?
I did, and so I wasn't actually physically in their classrooms reciprocally. I basically would put out a video, but it's something at each, even with a kindergarten class, and thinking about, okay, how do the parts work together in the system? What are the surroundings? What's in the system itself? Those are ideas that I can put in. I don't have to use like really heavy language. And then I've read up on, you know, how, you know, where does the energy go? What does the energy do? And just kind of those general ideas of energy transfer and how the modeling curriculum uses energy. And so those ideas I can try to break down for a younger audience and not make it, try to make it, just make it, they can connect to it. So
cool.
I was just throwing it out there. I don't want to spend too much time.
Are you looking forward to getting back to school in the fall and seeing whether or not any of it stuck?
Actually, it turns out Friday was my last day because I was a temporary contract. But I definitely would be, absolutely, because these ideas just kind of sitting each week, like kind of letting it marinate each week. I'm becoming more familiar with this sort of questioning technique. It's cool because I think, again, like I was saying, there's so many better videos that show the explosions and some of this. It's like, well, this is a way for students to think about. I really appreciated what Sarah had to share on here, because I was looking at all the amazing, like that's where I want to go with my classes at some point. Mm-hmm. And with the driving question board and having like the sense making, like going through their questions and then getting that sequencing right. I just had this real general template that I was trying to work off that was agreed upon by other people than myself to put together for the students during this time. So I had to sort of go with what I had. So
yeah, no, that's really cool.
Steve, I saw those on Twitter. I think you posted them a day or two ago, and I was just like, holy cow, that's awesome. That's totally modeling instruction.
I appreciate it. Yeah, it's on my all my stuff's free on like the like I don't the boards and stuff. I can take a picture of those and I'll share those with you, George, just like the individual pictures. And if you wanted to put boards together, and all of it's based on, I think it was Appendix G or Appendix H of the NGSS framework. So just, most of it's not, or it's like Wonder of Science graphic organizers, or it's Jeremy Peacock graphic organizers, like using those as a template as well with the boards and stuff I was doing. And then the appendix stuff with just those general questions of systems, cause and effect, and patterns.
Yeah, they're awesome. Steve, I don't know if you can check the chat. I don't know if I typed in your Twitter handle correctly, but
okay.
Yeah, I appreciate all the stuff that you tweet.
Yes, I appreciate it, George. Yeah, I look forward to learning with the community here. I was jumping in and back and forth with the K through 6 group. I thank you for the invite today.
Oh yeah, no problem. I just think wherever you teach at or wherever you go, you're going to be an asset wherever you're at, because
thank you.
You really got NGSS down. It's evident what your tweet online. I get good ideas. I look at your stuff, and I might look at my phone real quickly in the morning before I hit the road, before I get on my commute, and I'll see something that you tweet, and I might actually use it in my classroom that day. It's pretty cool. So
thanks.
Yeah, and it's like these people, like ambitious science teaching, like you write the book, and I'm like, this is like, there's so much modeling instruction going on here. There's some things that are a little different. Like they're really big on the phenomenon, which that's where I shifted anyways. And I think that's an easy fix with modeling. So instead of us doing paradigm labs, we just do phenomenon. I think it's a better way to deliver the curriculum anyways.
Can you explain what you mean by that? I don't understand. Phenomenon versus.
Phenomenon, you pose like some sort of question or problem to the kids. Like my last unit was the jellyfish in the Glacier Sea. What's causing these jellyfish to get like so massively like population explode that's decimating the environment, the ocean environment? And then I just get their elicitation at first, like what's their startup ideas? And I don't tell them if they're right or wrong. It's like, oh, that's interesting. Like we got a lot of good ideas. Like let's start to investigate it. The modeling curriculum, the modeling cycle is just the delivery. Like, it's a story. We do all these investigations and discussions. It's just a story. And at the end, I tell them, we go back to that original phenomenon. It's like, hey, give me a claim evidence analysis. Why is this happening? Cite things that we did in class to prove your claim. So, and then a paradigm lab is, it's a startup lab. It's getting their initial ideas. And Colleen, you could speak, you could phrase it than I can.
So there are all kinds of models, right? I think we've spent a lot of time in the last 3 months hearing about COVID-19 models. There are equity models. We're watching the Black Lives Matter thing unfold, and there are important models to impart to our students. There are three big overarching models that run through, supermodels we like to call them, that run through the middle school curriculum. One is energy, one is matter, and one is systems. And so we want kids to be able to work with those models in lots of different contexts. But middle school science is vast. The scope of middle school science is vast. So if you want to take as a model upon which to center a unit, jellyfish population, you can model that. So model it, and what does that model look like at the end of the unit? Get a model summary board of jellyfish population, or, change over time.
The curriculum's the story. Yeah, the curriculum is the story. It's like the story is building the model. And it's just trying to figure out how do you stage the story? Like what activities do you put in what sequence? So you're building a cohesive model throughout the entire curriculum. And Colleen, I don't mean to get political, but it's like when I watch the news, when I watch CNN, how many times do you hear Dr. Fauci say, he's been saying this constantly. He keeps, I forgot the physicist that he's quoting. He keeps saying all models are wrong. Some
models are useful. Exactly. And I don't know who the first person was that said that, but I don't know, learned that a long time ago. when I was at ASU. I heard that and I thought, oh yeah, that's exactly right. The phrase sticks, but the author does not.
And when we come out of, and that's such a misconception when I talk to teachers, it's like they talk about what is a model and they always think it's something physical. And they think when the NGSS is talking about models, they think it's something physical. And I'm like, no. And in this book, their definition of a model is exactly what you just said too. Was, they almost took took the words out of your mouth. Now, they said, I met Jessica Thompson. She's one of the writers of this book a few years back in Chicago. And I asked her what she thought about modeling instruction. She said, and she's really nice, and she's really a good presenter. She's out of the University of Washington. And she said, it's good. There's just a couple components missing that modeling instruction needs to do to be fully aligned to NGSS. I didn't know what she meant at the time, but after reading the book, I really think the big thing she was talking about was phenomenon.
Perhaps. There's baggage with the University of Washington that I could tell you the story someday, but we're not going to get political, are we, George?
No, we're not.
And I'm your timekeeper. Our session is over, plus 1 minute. You're welcome to continue the conversation in one of the virtual waiting rooms. There's a continue the conversation room, and there's a virtual waiting room. And I can put in the chat, if you like, the URL for the virtual lobby. Let's see if I can copy that bad boy. Come on. You know, I used to be so copy link address. All right, I might have it here.
I can try and find it.
Do you want chat? Okay, wait. I'm getting it. I've got it. There.
Thanks for
there
some
it
very
is.
helpful information today.
Yeah, well, I'll be back on tomorrow too if you guys want to keep this conversation running. And by all means, just keep if you guys ever want to email me. The modeling emails are the emails I like to open up and reply to. So.
Agreed. And email me too.
Yeah.
Colleen at modelinginstruction.org. Sometimes, you know, it's lonely out here, and sometimes it's good to hear from the folks.
That's Colleen. That's why we need to build a community. We're just trying to build a strong community of teachers.
And I think that modeling is a community. I think we all feel connected. We have this thing in common, you know, a set of practices and a kind of a philosophy of how kids learn. And so it's good to be with your people. That's why so many people are here. Yeah. It's great.
Yeah. Appreciate everyone's time on a Saturday. This was fun. Hope to keep it going.
All righty then.
Appreciate it, George. Colleen, thank you.
I'll share
Thank you, George and Colleen. That was awesome.
I need a little brain break, so I'll post the resources this afternoon.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
George, I'll talk to you later about some football, okay?
Yeah, are you going to be back tomorrow? You want to hop on a little early tomorrow?
Tomorrow, yeah.
All right, let's do that, John. You take it easy.
All right, thanks, man.
Take it easy.
Tomorrow the same type of session?
Is it 2? I think it's 2 Eastern. Let me check the spreadsheet.
No, not the time, the subject. Is it just middle school again?
We do have a middle school slot open tomorrow.
Okay.
I kind of want to lead off with equity.
Okay.
But then after that, we'll go back into whatever. I don't really plan much for these things. I just think of topics and share resources, and that's it.
Are you going to share the readings that you annotate?
Yes, I will write that. I'm writing it down. I'm writing it down right now. I'll put it up this afternoon, okay?
Thank you.
Yep.
Nice to meet everybody.
Nice to meet you guys. You guys, everyone take care. I'm gonna step out, so.
Aloha.
All right. Yeah, aloha.
All right. Oh, I added some resources to the folder.
Nice. Thank you. Thanks, John. I appreciate you doing that.
So I don't know if they're useful or not. A couple things. I'll look through my rest of my stuff too, see what else that might be helpful.
Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Any special ed resources would be really helpful to me, because I teach all twice exceptional kids. So they're most of them are gifted. I think they're all supposed to be. And then they're also learning disabled. So a lot of autism and a lot of ADHD. So those whiteboard conversations don't work well because there's a lot of monologues that are happening.
Side conversations.
Well, yeah, I get a lot of monologues. A lot of the 2E profile is a lot of kids just wanting to talk, to hear themselves talk, but getting conversation is darn near impossible.
The first 2 years I used modeling instruction, I had the same problem. Now, here's what I did that fixed it. Do you want me I'm going to type in the group chat here. If you Google this, sorry, I gotta do this. Talk Science Primer.
Okay.
PDF. Google that. There's a 20-page article. That's fixed my problems. It gives you these things called talk moves. It gives you tools and strategies to facilitate the discussion.
Okay.
It's awesome.
And is there a core minimum to do a good whiteboard conversation? My classes are really small. They're like 6 kids.
So 6 kids. My typical discussions with 20, 25, 28 kids, the whole class discussion usually only goes 15 minutes. After they prep their whiteboards and everything, we talk for about 15 minutes. We get everything covered that I need to get covered, and then we journal at the end as a class, just so everyone's on the same page consensus.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I gotta get more creative. Because it's just a different environment to be doing modeling in. And especially middle school, the physics worked out real well. They're older. They have, but the middle school, that was interesting.
Oh, the eighth grade forces in motion unit?
Well, no. So I teach everything from middle school to high school. Wow. So I did, this past year I had a high school physics with 5 kids. I had a physical science with 3 kids. And then I had 2 classes of middle school biology, and they each had about 6 kids in them.
Yeah, wow. I think that's the gauntlet right there. You got a challenging thing, but I like that physics. I like those physics equations you have up on the top of your whiteboard. I saw that, and I'm like, the 8th grade modeling curricula is really good. Yeah. I tweaked the 8th grade modeling curricula so it, like the F equals MA, there's a good PhET simulation that you can derive it from.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you want. I just, like, my brain's spacing right now, but just email me, and then I can try to get to you, like, next week. Like, here's stuff I use when I taught it, because that F equals MA, that free PhET simulation is awesome.
Okay.
That comes up, it literally produces that equation for them.
Perfect. Yeah. And that physics, I feel like physics modeling is much more
easy. It's easy
to do stuff to, because it's really easy to model, because you often have 3 variables, and modeling with 3 variables is amazing. But like modeling with life science or modeling that's so much, because there's so many variables.
It takes a lot of strategy, and how do you sequence your different labs and simulations? Like, what's the story? What do you need them to get out of it, and how are you going to deliver it? And that makes me sit down and just figure out, how am I going to get this done?
Yep. And then with my 2E students, one of the challenges is retention. So storyline is really tough, because building from, okay, yesterday we did this, a week ago we did that, and now we're building to this. That's not super, the executive functioning to be able to tie that together, those skills are lower. And that's one of the challenges with modeling too, I think. I think we can overcome that. I think having more documents like you had, the modeling, the model at a glance. But one of the criticisms I got from one of my kids, which I'm so glad he told me this, is that he felt like we were doing the same thing in different ways for about a month. I'm like, well, yeah, that's exactly what we're doing.
You know, and how I had that same problem with my kids too. And the journals, make them journal at the end every day, title the activity, and then they see if there is a flow, like we are building.
That it's, that makes sense. I like that. Yeah, that it's different, even though it is the same in some ways.
At the end of the day, it's notes, but they're notes done at the end after the kids have talked about it.
Yeah, exactly. With my kids, doing a lot of upfront notes does not work. It will not work.
It won't work with my kids either. And it's just like, in order for the kids to understand this stuff, they need to experience and talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why modeling, I will not go back to traditional. Like, my new school tried to force me to go traditional, and I'm like, I lied to them. Like, oh yeah, I'm going to do what you guys do. And then I kept doing what I did anyways.
Yeah. So, and then some of them like to talk, but my autistic ones, I mean, they're not severely autistic, but some of them will not talk. They will sit in a corner. They're happy on their computer doing something all by themselves. They will not talk. unless there's something that really excites them, which I almost think that goes in. What the kids are experiencing is a lot of that, the idea of flow, where they find that one thing that just really gets them really driven. Like I had a kid that he would not participate much at all, but at home online he took his magnet toys, the magnet ball and stick toys, I'm sure you've seen them, and he did a model of mitosis. He showed me what he was doing, and I was just like, that's it.
Yeah, that's cool. It means he really understands it.
Absolutely. So I'm thinking that's maybe a different way to approach modeling than trying to stick to a certain curriculum.
Yeah, I just try to find a bunch of good resources, and I'm like, what's the best thing to teach this topic?
Sure.
And pull it out. So
yeah. All right. Hey, talk to you later.
Yeah, talk to you later. Nice to meet you. By all means, I use Twitter and email, man, to stay in contact.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah, see you, John.